We want to take you now to breaking news. The GBI is actively investigating a northeast Georgia tourist site. News Chopper 2 was over the scene in just the last few minutes. Hopefully we'll get that video for you before the end of the hour. Witnesses say they heard an explosion in the early morning hours. A viewer sent us this photo from the scene where authorities have shut down parts of Highway 77 near the granite monument known as the Georgia Guidestones. There is visible damage to the 19-foot tall structure. Many people living nearby say they heard loud boom.
Denn zur selben Zeit, als die USA von Freimaurern wie George Washington gegründet wurden, wurde Alberton ebenfalls von einem Freimaurer gegründet, dem Großmeister Samuel Albert. Alberton ist eine Freimaurerstadt und trägt den Namen dieses Freimaurergenerals 32. Grades. Des Weiteren heißt es, dass auch dieser Steinmetz Joe Findlay rein zufällig von diesem R.C. Christian beim Vorbeifahren in seinem Büro aufgesucht wurde. Man bekommt den Eindruck, als sei dieser Joe Findlay ein stinknormaler Steinmetz wie jeder andere von diesen Dutzenden Granitunternehmern in Alberton. Doch so unbeschrieben ist dieser Joe Findlay nicht, denn in der Georgia Guidestones Broschüre plaudert er etwas aus dem Nähkästchen, und zwar auf Seite 39. Und wenn wir uns bis dahin durchblättern, erfahren wir, dass er zum Beispiel ein Rotarier war und damit schon mal international vernetzt, was ihn noch nicht auffällig macht. Aber weiter heißt es, er war auch Großmeister 32. Grades nach schottischem Ritus in der Philomathea Masonic Lodge 25 in Alberton. Der Großmeister einer Freimaurerloge zu sein, das ist schon eine große Nummer für einen gewöhnlichen Steinmetz. Doch auch damit nicht genug. Er sei auch Mitglied des jahrelang Schreintempels im benachbarten Atlanta gewesen und Präsident des Valley-Schreins in Savannah. Schreiner sind ein antik-arabischer Freimaurerorden, die sich islamischer Symbolik und altägyptischer Mystik bedienen. Ihre Tempel sehen nicht nur aus wie Moscheen, sie nennen sie auch Moscheen. Und ihre Statuen tragen auffällig osmanisch-türkische Uniformen, und das mitten in Amerika, beschützt von ägyptischen Sphinxen. Osmanisch-ägyptisch-freimaurisch, die Guidestones wurden also von einem Mann gebaut, der nicht nur hochgradiger Freimaurer war, sondern auch ein führender Schreiner, dessen symbiontische Beziehung auch hier nochmal deutlich wird. Und das alles geschah in einer Stadt, welche ebenfalls von einem Freimaurer gegründet wurde. Alles nur Verschwörungstheorien, oder sehen viele hier den Wald vor lauter Bäumen nicht? Schauen wir uns diesen ominösen Yarab-Schreintempel in der Nähe der Guidestones nochmal etwas genauer an. Und da sind sie wieder, die grimmigen Männer, bei denen Joe Findlay Präsident war. Unter About Us erfahren wir, dass zu dieser Bruderschaft auch Astronauten zählen. Und nun dürft ihr dreimal raten, von welchem Astronauten da die Rede ist. Die Rede ist natürlich von dem hier mit dem berühmtesten Fußabdruck der Welt, dem gleichzeitigen Hochgrad-Freimaurer Buzz Aldrin. Ein Yarab-Schreiner auf dem Mond. Hier mit passender osmanischer Kappe. Und das ist kein Photoshop, liebe Freunde, und auch keine Verschwörungstheorie. Es scheint mal wieder alles miteinander in Verbindung zu stehen.
Hallo miteinander, das ist ja wohl ein sehr merkwürdiges Vorkommen mit den Georgia Guidestones. Dass innerhalb von 24 Stunden das Monument der NWO dann direkt abgerissen wird. Also normalerweise sind da ausgiebige polizeiliche Ermittlungen, damit man Spuren findet, die zur Ergreifung der Täter führen. Jetzt wird das innerhalb von 24 Stunden abgerissen. Da muss ein Okay eingeholt werden von den Eigentümern. Das ist ja alles nicht so ganz klar, alles sehr verschleiert. Sehr merkwürdig. Ich glaube, da hat es jemand besonders eilig gehabt, nicht zu lange in der Öffentlichkeit zu stehen mit diesem Monument und vielleicht nochmal viele Fragen aufkommen, die unerwünscht sind. Bin gespannt, was noch rauskommt. Macht's gut.
The United States is under systematic attack from without and within. And if you think things are bad now, I will assure you, you will look back in 2022 as the good old days. Just as I told you in the year 2020, you'd look in a few years as that as the good old days. Right on time, they're announcing the carbon lockdowns. Right on time, they're announcing the ban of cows. Right on time, they're announcing open pedophilia. Right on time, they're announcing they're not going to test any of the so-called vaccines and just force them on you now. It is so diabolical, so illegal, so outrageous. I have the insurance actuaries and the new Pfizer documents that were forced to release by a court, and it's confirming triple the deaths of people that have been taking the shots. Mass death in children and young people. Mass autoimmune disorders. Just this stack alone is enough to make a grown man cry. And then I've got a stack of news of prominent leftists caught recruiting and raping children and with child porn. And people say, well, that's good news, they're getting busted. Exactly. But that's why they're racing to normalize it. That's one stack. This stack ties into what I was just talking about. UN, the very group, the very front group running all this that ran the policies of lockdowns, reports that 345 million people are marching to the brink of starvation. An extra 30 million people, it was 15 extra million, are starving to death each year because of the COVID lockdowns. Those are real people starving to death. Those are real people dying. And here it's just an article, it's just a statistic, it's just a number. Do you feel safe when that's happening to these people? Does that make you sleep good at night? Does that concern you? And then we've got the Georgia Guidestone news. We've got mainstream media saying Trump's got his new plane repainted for 2024 ready with a big American flag on it. And we've got Boris Johnson resigning. We've got the big economic stack of news. We've got more Disneyland employees caught being pedophiles. We've got Army cuts off more than 60,000 troops, unvaccinated Guard and Reserve soldiers from pay and benefits. We've got massive hadron, superconducting, super collider news. We've got it all. All the new pushes for gun control.
Oh, there's way more to this story. So let me get this straight. Less than 12 hours after the detonation of an IED on the Georgia Guidestones, they demolished and cleared the whole thing for safety reasons. So instead of just roping off the area and conducting a thorough and full forensic investigation of an exploded device, I mean, I was deployed in Iraq, and when IEDs go off, I mean, you remember the term IED, improvised explosive device? When something that goes off, people come out and they try to collect as much evidence as they can. You can even collect DNA from the bomb maker themselves and try to locate, where this originated from. You can even find out, what the explosive type was so you can further investigate to see where that came from as well. So when I saw on this site, which is unbelievably bizarre as it is, and let me just say, if you don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are, get ready to be creeped out, because it's actually surprising just how many people have never seen or heard of these things before. And if you're not familiar, I will fill you in. So first of all, let's be clear. This was created in 1980, and the people, whoever they were that financed this, are still a mystery. It is unknown to the public who put the money behind to have this constructed. However, there are some suspicions. For example, Ted Turner grew up in this area, which, by the way, this area, I mean, this thing is in practically the middle of nowhere. It's in Georgia at a place that nobody goes through, which is one reason why people suspect that Ted Turner could have been involved. And if you're not familiar, Ted Turner is the founder of CNN, which is, of course, the most trusted name in news. And if it was up to me, let's be real, I'd have CNN be the lead news producer for the entire Milky Way galaxy if it was up to me. Outstanding source of information that has never been wrong about anything, not even by accident. Oh, that's hard to say. Anyway, furthermore, so we don't know. So that's interesting. And some people will say that these stones are benign. Come on, this is just something that some rich guy did in the event that there was some cataclysmic event. And this is a guidance on how humanity should proceed forward for the best. wishes of not just mankind, but planet Earth itself. Well, let me say this. Anything that involves a plan for all of humanity that's done in secrecy is not for your benefit. If these stones were benign and a good thing, there would be no secrecy. Now, speaking of secrets, here's something else we don't know, which is what is in the buried time capsule that's 6 feet under this monument. That's right, I don't know if they're going to exhume this thing or not, but I and the rest of the world should be able to see what this is, because it could be very telling. It could lead to answers on who did this in the first place, or, God, who knows what else. All I know is that I want to know what's in this, and everyone should get behind two things here, which is identifying who created this in the first place and what's in that damn time capsule. Now, many people refer to this as the New World Order monument or a monument for globalism. And it surely is, because this thing favored a one-world government. It favored Marxism, i.e. societal mandates and control over the individual. It favored eugenics. Like, what the, like, are you serious? You know, the stuff that the Nazis were into, like controlling who breeds and stuff like that. Like, that's not a good thing ever. It's so wrong on so many levels, but let me just keep going for a second, because it even favored a mass depopulation of planet Earth. Now, let me be clear. These stones were built in the context of post-cataclysm and saying, hey, maintain the whole population of the world to 500 million. But right now, we're at nearly 7.9 billion, which means that that would be a reduction of nearly 94% of the population that's alive today. In fact, that would be 15 out of 16 people ceasing to exist. You know, a lot of people are talking right now about depopulation, that there's too many people on planet Earth and everything else, and we're destroying it. But I'm sorry, I don't know what the number might be that would be best for humans on Earth. But to suggest that there's like, that it should be reduced by 94% seems extreme to me. But let me keep going. This thing, in fact, you know, let me just read off real quick all 10 of them. Okay, so maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Okay, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Okay, that is pretty talk for eugenics. That is, in other words, saying like certain people should not have kids. Well, who's to say that? And going back to the 500 million point, who's to say who can have children and how many? That is no one's right but their own. And guys, I agree. If you drive by some, you know, some trailer park and someone's got 10 kids and all this, and like, we know that's not a great thing, right? But what are you going to do about it? Put mommy and daddy in jail? Shoot them? What are you going to do? No one has a right but them, okay? Let me just keep going though. So number 3, unite humanity with a living new language. Now, there's pros and cons to this. I think that one of the problems in the world is that we don't speak the same language and we don't understand where people are coming from. I see the same thing with the whole Russian thing today. It's like, guys, the Russians are our friends. Like, have you ever known Russians? They're cool. And the only reason why we have nothing, seemingly nothing in common and no connection is because our languages are so vastly different. But I digress. Let me actually just say that languages, multiple languages, are a good thing. It's one thing that makes the human race so interesting, and culture and world travel so fun. But anyway, number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Fair enough. 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Well, oh my God, that sounds wonderful. I agree. 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Ooh, see, that's the thing. That's where this New World Order and world government becomes a thing, because slippery slope is it's not just some, what's the word for it I'm thinking of? Cliche. No, like, there's a slippery slope to everything, and I'm sorry, a world court, no. Like, within reason, of course, like the Nuremberg trials, those were wonderful. But when it comes to a world court, it seems to me that there's a consolidation of power happening right now, and that's why I get a little disturbed with these stones. But let me keep going. Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Well, oh my God, I probably agree with this above all else, because big government, right? That's what that represents, and it's saying that big government's not a great thing. So, okay, cool. I agree with that as well. Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. Stop, hold the brakes right there. What the hell? No. That is Marxism. That is I mean, it sounds so nice. Balance personal rights with social duties. Okay, hey, for a community and a society, we gotta, come together and do things, as one. There's some truth to that, but then there's this fine line where it becomes Marxism, which is communism, and that is not a good thing historically at all whatsoever. Who am I? Case in point, the Maoists in China, the Soviets of Russia, Pol Pot in Cambodia. Oh, wait, what was it? Oh my God, I forgot this whole Hitler thing that went on. But never mind that. That's old news, right? Guys, when you have the governing body controlling the individual, that is a bad thing. And that's exactly what that's getting at. Let me keep going. 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seek harmony with the infinite. Great, that sounds wonderful. That could be a philosophy conversation in itself. But number 10, be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, leave room for nature. See, there's 2 ways of looking at this. One of which is like, well, that's a good thing. You're right, leave room for nature. And let's not be a cancer on this earth, which we are. But there's another way of looking at it where people start playing around being like, yeah, there's too much, not enough room for nature. You know what, 7.9 billion, ooh, that's a bit too much here. Let's get down to 500 million. Now, again, I know people right now are going to interrupt and be like, hey, these stones do not say anything about reducing population. Okay, I understand that, but let me be clear. If there was a cataclysmic event, the last thing humanity would need would be a one world government, eugenics, population control, or Marxism and society as a whole controlling the individual. And the last 2 years should be a real wake-up call for people on what happens when you have a small number of people controlling the global population. And let me say something else. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's happening in the world involving a global famine, the likes of which haven't been seen in our lifetimes, and is so unnecessary in 2022. Look at the riots happening in the Netherlands, France, Spain, Italy, and elsewhere, Sri Lanka. Like, go look this up now. Because this ties into my last few videos when I've been sounding the alarm saying, guys, something is afoot here. Something bad is happening. It's not an accident. People are making it happen. And it's completely preventable and unnecessary. But where things stand right now, things are standing to get ugly. And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't want to be the doomsday guy, but someone's got to say it, because not enough people are. And this world is what we make of it. And it's only going to be through waking up and informing enough people to what's going on to have any effect and change whatsoever. So look up those food shortages where they're shutting down farmers and saying you can't plant, and it has to do with fertilizer and all this stuff and, keeping things green and clean and everything for planet Earth. Yeah, sounds great, but you know what? If that was the simple explanation, then why is this catching everyone with their pants down? Nobody saw this coming. It's like came out of the woodwork. And why is it that most people don't even know about it? I've chatted with friends and family that have no idea about these riots across the world. That should be front page headline, that farmers are rioting against, police are shooting at farmer tractors. What? In the midst of an energy crisis and global famine, and a food shortage, which is only going to escalate from here on out. And when I said it before that these things weren't an accident, you see why, because you're stopping people from farming. They're culling animals and everything else. So now let me just close this up, because I want to move on to my other stuff. But let's be clear, guys. Some people, anyone saying that these stones are benign and there's some goodness to them, well, guess what? When the cataclysm happens, well, then you're basically forfeiting your rights to anyone, right? That's like me saying, like, hey, all right, well, since you're all for this globalism, this Marxism, and these eugenics and everything, that means that Jimmy or someone else gets to tell you exactly what you're going to be doing post-apocalypse, right? Cataclysm? No, that's not good. And to anyone that's trying to defend these stones, I think you guys need to dig into this, where they came from. They said they were created by R.C. Christian. Well, look into who that really is. Google R.C. Christian, you'll see that is the founder, or a pseudonym, because it's declared as a pseudonym, so not even the real person's name, and they chose the founder of the Rosicrucian secret society. Guys, that's how you know this stuff is not on the up and up. Like, why would this secretive group of people choose the founder of a dark-sided secret society as the movement to proceed forward in a new global era? No. And again, like I said, anything done in secrecy, especially that involves all of humanity, is not benign. If this was good and benign and nothing to worry about, there would be no need for secrecy. It'd be a global conversation and everything would be fine. But when you do things behind other people's backs, that's when you know something's up. We've been fed there are so many lies in this world, you can make your head spin. And how are things going? Things are as crazier than ever, and it seems to be escalating. So I would argue that the last thing we need is any more secrecy, and what we need is the truth. So with that said, you should ask yourselves why they decided to bulldoze this site so quick without enough time to do a thorough forensic investigation. We need to find out what's in the time capsule, and we need to find out who created this site originally. Because if there's nothing bad, then this is harmless, no big deal. Just tell us the truth and all will be well, right? My name is Jimmy Corsetti. My channel is called Bright Insight. Leave a comment, share this video, and share your thoughts on what you think about the things in this, the information shared in this video. But I'm going to wrap it up here and move on to the next topic. I love you all. See you again real soon. Take care.